Hello everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Today we're going to be continuing work on this little kitchenette. I already did a little bit off camera. As you guys can see, I put in the curved sort of trim pieces and I cut out 2 holes for the hot plate. I did buy a brand new hot plate just so I'm not putting in an old one. And today we're going to be doing a lot of welding. So to bring you in a little bit closer here, let me show you guys exactly what we're going to be doing today. All these edges here need to get welded, as well as the seam up here. See, this countertop is made up of 2 steel plates underneath. One of them is up here, and there's just 1 and 2. The seam right here sort of interrupts the countertop, and so what I'm going to do is grind it out a little bit, weld it up, and then grind it smooth. Another thing I'm going to have to do is make this hot plate fit a little bit better. This hole wasn't cut in the right spot. It's about a 1/2 inch off, and so I'm going to have to cut the trim piece down here to move this hot plate over. So I'll drag this thing outside, then get the stick welder going, grab some sticks and some electrodes, and get to welding. Well, it's a couple of days after that last shot. I did that earlier in the week, and it's Saturday now. I'm going to be doing a little bit of welding. This area here on the tabletop has experienced a lot of heat and a lot of warping. It's not straight, and I need to straighten it out. See, this seam right here, it seems like there's just too much material. It pulled in or something happened, and now it's not flat. It sags down. It kind of curves down. To fix that, I'm going to do something that's going to fix 2 problems I have. I'll take this chunk of channel iron and weld it in about right here, underneath, of course. Now what that is going to do is straighten this chunk out, straighten out that bend, but it's also going to give me a channel that the hot plate can mount into. Now this channel iron, whenever it sits on the hot plate, it's about the perfect height. The burners stick up just past the chunk of channel iron, and that means that those 2 burners are going to be about flush with the top of the table, which is exactly what I want. So now what I'm going to do is flip this guy over and weld that in. On the burner side of the hot plate, or of the kitchenette, I have this rail welded in here. I did cut this. I put a straight edge on it, clamped it, and tacked it. I'm going to flip it over and weld it from the other side because the bow was facing up. It was bowed like this. Weld it from the other side. Any bow is going to get sucked out of it. At least that's the hope. So I started doing a lot more welding there than I was really expecting to do. I just got carried away and just sort of put my head down and started getting it done. I did run out of flux core wire, so that kind of sucks. But the winds have calmed down a little bit, and I think I can go outside and start to grind this down and probably even get to stick welding it. These seams here, where the 1/8 inch material meets the sheet metal, I probably won't try to stick weld those. I might, but I probably won't. Other than that, there's not a lot of joints on here that need to get welded up, at least for the tabletop. There's this one over here, that's going to be easy. There's this joint over here, and then there's finishing off this guy here. I'm also going to cut off this bar that I put up here just to help keep everything stable while I was moving it around. It has no purpose now, so off it goes. So as you can see, it's a little bit shinier now. All of these weld seams have been ground down. This corner in here is probably the best spot. It's nicely radiused in this direction. It's really nice, I like it. And the rest of it, this area here needs to be softened a bit, as does most of this, but I'm very happy with it so far. This seam was ground down so that I can weld it. I do need to go back and weld a couple of the chunks of this seam. There's some porosity here. This didn't get the greatest penetration. Throughout here it's alright. This area, there's some porosity there. I mean, it's not the end of the world. I could paint over that, but you and I would both know now that I showed you. The lid, I can finally open and close it now. I've been having issues ever since I put these guys on, and also it needed some persuasion to get to open and close right. But now, it opens and closes just fine. I do still need to weld up this area. I do still need to weld up this and finish this out. This here, there was such a big gap there that I had to basically Texas TIG it. I took an 1/8 inch 7018 rod and kind of shoved it into the puddle every once in a while. It melted away and added a lot more material. Not the greatest penetration, but I mean, it added a lot more material that I could grind down. Especially the areas like this need to get repaired. Little spots like that. And this needs to get ground down and maybe welded. This needs to get welded. Maybe. It is going to get an engine enamel. I decided that the finish for the top of this is going to be an engine enamel because A, it's an engine enamel. It can handle the heat of the burners, which are now set in place. I still need the other side, the latch open the other side, but a little bit of a friction fit against the rod here. Oh. It keeps it in place for display purposes only. But the engine enamel, it's chip resistant, it's very durable, and it's heat resistant. I'm going to go with a black for the top. I'll leave the rest of it rusty as it is. Not as it is. I will put a product called Flood Penetrol over the rest of it. You guys will see it makes it look pretty nice. I did it to my truck. So those are the plans. Sadly, I did scuff up some areas on this. That's some stuff that needs to get cleaned up. I did scuff up some areas on this, but it's not the end of the world. It'll be all right. Over here needs finished. I need a plate right there. But with that being said, I'm going to end the video here. I'm trying to put out more videos, and while I would have loved to have a video with more progress on this guy, it's taking me quite a long time. The days are short, and so by the time I get home, it's quite dark out. My truck has been having issues, and so I've been spending lots of time on it, trying to fix it. I put a new carburetor on it. Hey, you watch it there. And I also had some customer projects that I needed to get done. The steel that is attempting to attack me was newly purchased today specifically for this project. It is 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch steel tubing, square tubing. I plan on using this square tubing for the actual shelves. See, 2 of them are going to come up vertically. They're 6 foot long, so they're plenty tall enough, and that's what I'm going to build the shelves off of. The other one is going to run underneath the base to support it more because it's only an 1/8 inch sheet of steel at the moment. It's also going to give me a better anchor point for the 2 6-foot lengths that are running vertically to support the shelves better. I'm also going to add an entire base to this, probably made out of wood. I do want to add a little bit of wood for the shelving and for the bottom of the base to help deaden the noise. Hopefully a little bit of timber is going to help deaden that down, help absorb some of those vibrations. I may also put sort of a backsplash on here of wood. I'm also thinking doing one out of stainless steel and using it for all of the stickers that people send me, other YouTubers and such. I think that would be really, really cool. So with that being said, please like and subscribe if you want to see more of this content, and have a good